endorsements and their marks so that we'll know what everybody is thinking about. Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Sandra Williams. I'm born and raised in the city of Cleveland, on the east side of the city of Cleveland. And I'm the youngest of 7 children. And of course, I graduated from the Cleveland Municipal School District, have a bachelor's degree in political science, 2 master's degrees, an MBA, and a master's of criminal justice administration. I'm a member of the Olivet Institutional Baptist Church. I was a former member, born and raised in the Second New Hope Missionary Baptist Church with the Reverend George Q. Brown. And I have spent my time working for the people of the city of Cleveland. I started out as a member of the United States Army Reserve for 8 years, worked in the field of criminal justice as a corrections officer, probation officer, parole officer, and mediator for the state of Ohio for 10 and a half years. I then started working as a legislative aide as well as a state rep for 8 years and a state senator for the last 10 years. Listen, the reason I'm running for mayor is this. I have been working for the people of the city of Cleveland for a very long time. I have delivered real results for the people of Cleveland. People know me when they call with a problem. I deliver the results. If they don't know me, when they call, I deliver for them. I want to come back to the city of Cleveland to make sure I finish what we started. And what we started is an opportunity for people to thrive in this city. I don't see people thriving in the city of Cleveland. I don't. I sponsored the Cleveland Plan, which of course changed the way we do business with the Cleveland Municipal School District when Governor Kasich was going to take it over, because we were at a 47% graduation rate and in fiscal emergency for more than 3 years. That improved our graduation rate to 80% and 86% if you're looking at a 5-year graduation rate. I changed the criminal justice reform issues that we have when people are returning to Cleveland from the community. People have opportunities now because of the work that I've done. When people get charged with things, crimes, they don't automatically go to prison because of the work that I've done in the criminal justice system. Now, if you're talking about economic development, we can look at the Third Frontier program, where over 500 companies were created and thousands of jobs are in the healthcare corridor that we see when we drive up Cedar and Chester and in other parts of our community. That's because of the work that I've done. When the Irishtown Bend was falling in and the Port Authority needed money, it was Sandra Williams who went to the Republicans and said, I need that money, because if none of the cargoes come through, nothing in the state of Ohio would go through. It was Sandra Williams who created the first ever operating line item for the port authorities in the state of Ohio. Nobody could get it done after a decade, but I was able to do that. Aliana's alert. When Aliana DeFries was killed by that murderer, that rapist, it was Sandra who got the bill passed to say you have to call the schools within 2 hours of the start of the school day. That was me. The African American Museum, the African American Cultural Gardens, and so many more things. And so what I'll do there is stop now and just take any questions that you all may have.
If you are our next mayor, how will you address the disparity in infant mortality in the Black community?
Well, you know what? The state of Ohio, under the leadership of Senator Charlita Tavares and Senator Lehner, years ago, we passed legislation to not only study, but we put over $20 million into infant mortality. Just in this last budget that passed on June 30th, we put money into birthing beautiful communities. We've done that before. We put money into the university hospitals right off of Chester, between Euclid and Chester, to address infant mortalities. There is a study committee going on right now with not-for-profit organizations, not only in Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, but other parts of the state, to address the fact that why are African-American babies dying at an alarming rate more than any other race in our state. And the numbers have gone down. We need to do more, but I will work directly with not-for-profit organizations, experts, and people within that community to figure out how, number one, we can educate pregnant women on what to do and what not to do when they're pregnant, but two, when you give birth, what to do and what not to do, and how to follow up with the physicians. The medical professionals are studying this issue right now. We know that it can be changed, but it cannot be changed without the help of not only the faith community, the political community, but the community as a whole.
What initiatives or changes to CMSD would you spearhead to improve both educational and career outcomes for our students?
Sure. Well, thank you very much for that question. Number one, I told you about the Cleveland plan, so we don't need to go into that anymore. We know that there is now a kindergarten readiness assessment that students need to take before they get into kindergarten. That test will label a student from their time within the Cleveland Municipal School District. So I will have a targeted approach from age 0 to 3, dealing with making sure that parents put their children in early childhood education programs so that they're ready for the kindergarten readiness assessment. Number two, I want to make sure that children are ready for the third grade reading guarantee. Before the Cleveland plan, the third grade reading guarantee passage was at 18.7%. Now it's at 9%. That means 9% of our children are still being held back because they cannot read at a third grade level. We have over a 75% illiteracy rate in the city of Cleveland alone, and that's including adults. So we have to do something about reading. The number of students who are ready for the workforce when they graduate is slim to none, and that's being nice. So there's a program called CareerWise in the state of Colorado that I would like to adopt. I have a bill before the state legislature addressing that particular issue. What it does is, number one, we look at in-demand jobs that are available within our region. We know that there are over 5,000 currently available that do not need a bachelor's degree. Many of them don't need an associate's degree. All they need is people with skills. And so my plan would not only recognize the in-demand jobs that are available. Number two, students would decide where they wanted to go in the 10th grade, 11th and 12th grade. They would work part-time, get paid in those jobs, go to school part-time, graduate with a certificate that is recognized across the United States of America. Not only will they get social skills, they will get work skills, but they'll be able to go out into the workforce on day one. We have been graduating people from our high schools, and then the next day they're like, what am I going to do now? They don't have any skills. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to look for a job. And we can put a pin in the fact that we don't even have enough counselors. Right now, from what I hear, counselors are 1 to 450. We don't even have enough counselors to even help educate people. Yes, we need a trade school program on the east side of Cleveland. We got Max Hayes. Max Hayes has been there since I graduated. But I've been working with Eric Gordon to try to open one on the east side of Cleveland for a very long time. That will happen under my watch. And I've been working with not-for-profits to do that even before that. So that is what I would do as the mayor of the city of Cleveland.
It's 2021 and we're still talking about lead safety. What is your plan to address lead safety amongst Cleveland residents?
I've been meeting with the two coalitions that are working with lead within our community. And they said that they need $99.4 million to abate the lead that we have in our homes and our businesses across the city of Cleveland. They have approximately 47 or 49 million of that from political organizations, to county, to city, to state, as well as philanthropy. And they have asked the city of Cleveland for 17.5. As a city who has $511 million, I would give them that 17.5. That will leverage the other 30 some odd million dollars that they need in order to abate the lead that is in our homes and in our communities. Secondly, we know that lead has a direct impact on our criminal justice system. It has a direct impact on the learning abilities of people who have been inhaling or chewing lead in our communities. And so we need to have an intensive approach. Once we find out that people have inhaled lead, we need to just work with them on a very intensive basis to make sure we're giving them remedial education, making sure that we are addressing some of the mental issues that they have because of the fact that they have been exposed to lead. According to the experts, there's nothing we can do to remove the lead from a person's body, but we can do things to reduce the impact that it has on a person's life. Most people are not tested for lead. That is what I have been told. The schools don't have the resources to do that. Medicaid requires every doctor who is treating a person who has the state child insurance health program, SCHIP, which is a Medicaid program, to test people, but they have not been doing that. So I would work with the state legislature to enforce the fact that if you want to get paid through Medicaid, then you need to be doing what the state says and the federal government says you need to do. Testing every child who has the SCHIP insurance.
Given the historically low spend from the city to Black-owned vendors, what is your plan to invest in and support historically Black-owned businesses?
Well, the first thing I would say to all Black-owned businesses out there is, under my administration, you will no longer need to be a front company. We will have our fair share of contracts within this city. I would put a word out right now. We only have a couple months to go. So get ready, get your business registered, get your bank account open. Don't tell me that you don't have a bank account in your business's name. You need a bank account. You need to have your business registered. You will no longer have to work under a white company just to get your little 10% or 5%, which I know is in a lot of these contracts. So listen, if you're not ready, I'm going to make sure you're at the table anyway, because the best way to get trained on how to do a job is to get experience. And so when we're making these contracts, if they're too big for you, we're going to reduce the contracts. We're going to reduce the contracts to at a percentage that you can actually comply with. And let me go back and give you a little background. I was the president of the Black Caucus. When the Black Caucus was, when I was the Black Caucus president, the state of Ohio was negotiating a contract with Ohio State University for their $1 billion hospital. It was actually two projects, phase one, phase two. Each one was $1 billion. Now, when the legislature tried to do construction manager at risk, and that's what President Gordon Gee wanted, the legislature said, we're not giving any set aside to minority businesses. And I said, well, if you want the Black Caucus's support, you're going to give Black folks an opportunity. And the president of the Senate at that time said, over my dead body. And so 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, we were in the Senate, we were in the atrium, and the reporter came up and said, the president of the Senate said, over his dead body, will he give Black folks anything? And I said, well, somebody's dying tonight. I'm one moving. And of course, Arnold Pinckney was my mentor, and I was on the phone with him every minute. And he said, Sandra, when I was on the school board, I said, we 12% of the population of the state, I want 12% of the contracts. And so he was like, don't move without that contract. And we did that. We did not move. And not only did we get 20% of the $1 billion contract, and Lonnie Coleman can talk to you all about this, and other companies, we were able to get women-owned businesses and other businesses money, contracts, and jobs in that hospital and the second phase. And Lonnie told me a couple of weeks ago that only is he doing that, he's now getting contracts with the state of Ohio as a whole. Secondly, when the 4 casinos came up, same thing happened. I said, listen, no bill is passing through here if you want the Black Caucus's support. Armin Budish was the county executive. Armin said, Sandra, the folks, the Democrats aren't going for this. I said, Armin, if you want to still be the Speaker of the House, then you're going to give Black folks this opportunity. On both of these particular contracts, we did a memorandum of understanding, and we got 20% for African-American businesses. So that's what I've done as a legislator. In the super minority, Imagine what I can do with billions of dollars of money downtown at the city of Cleveland. Everybody will thrive. It will be like we're in Atlanta when everybody thrived because of that airport, when the mayor said everybody's going to eat on this deal. Everybody will eat. I'm not taking nothing away from white folks, but Black folks need to eat too. Secondly, now I took all this time on that issue, but secondly, we deposit so much money in these banks in the city of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, but we get absolutely nothing from it. Not just the 1.8 billion from the General Revenue Fund, the airport and our utility systems, we deposit that money too. And think about the money that comes in from economic activity that we have from the Browns, the Cavs, and all the other activities that come into our city. That's billions of dollars that is not being tracked. If you want my money as the mayor, oh, you're going to leverage, I'm going to leverage the money from the city of Cleveland. We're going to leverage this money. And you're not only going to back minority businesses who are already qualified under the state and the city, but we're also going to do venture capital so that when you are a business and you need to expand, we're going to put capital into your business. We're going to estimate that you're going to be successful and we're going to invest in you. That's what we're going to do. We will grow this city. We will grow minority businesses. And the other thing people might not like, if you want money from the city of Cleveland, you need to come back to the city of Cleveland. You need to come back.
You got 1 minute to give us your final statement on why you want to be mayor and what you would like for us to do.
Listen, what I would like for you all to do is endorse my candidacy as mayor. We have 21, 22 days left in this race. Listen, people tell me, Sandra, you don't talk enough about the fact that you're the only woman in this race. And this will be the first ever African-American woman as the mayor of the city, because you know what? That matters, but it's not the biggest deal. The biggest impact that I can have is because of my experience. My experience speaks for itself. There is absolutely nobody in this race experience that can compare to what I've done for this city. I've worked with most of you. I've done things that most people cannot accomplish. And I would just ask you to look at everybody's background